It's spring of 2021, and I am celebrating the hopefulness of this spring and brand new dies from Dies to Die For at shopscrapbook101.com. Hello, and welcome to Karen's Creative Cards on YouTube. I am Karen Hasheck, and you know I am die cut crazy. This video is part of my die cut crazy video series, and I'm focusing on spring celebration cards using new dies from Dies to Die For. My first card is a teapot shaped beautiful card with a front created with a new suede technique that I'll be sharing in a new video soon. The teapot card shape is the shape of the card. So it opens up, and this new Celebrate here is a brand new die from the April release, and I am loving the layered sentiment dies that are available in this new release, and this is one of them. You can choose to use it layered or not, and in this case I did it not layered. All the dies that you see in this video are from Dies to Die For, except this one here was just too perfect, and I love it. It's from Cut Pluration. It's a beautiful day. So the shape of the card is the teapot, and it opens up to that shape. All the details on all the cards I'm sharing will be on my blog, and links are in the description box to those blog posts as well as the products featured. Slimlines and shakers are two of my favorite kinds of cards. And here's a Hello Peeps shaker springtime card made with many favorite dies from Dies to Die For. So it's a shaker and it's a slimline, and it says Hello Peeps, and we have Peeps in different colors there, and that's another fun card I just created for spring. And here is a floral celebration card. The pots there are made with that same technique, the faux suede, that I'm going to share in a video coming up very soon. It's another shaker, of course. There's gold flowers in there and beads. I'm loving using seed beads because they move around so much. There's that Celebrate again. And the mirrored triangle stencil in the background there is from Pink Fresh Studios. Now I have a envelope that I made in the last video that I did, and it is a slimline envelope made very easily with a die, and that would go perfectly with either one of these spring celebration slimline cards. This is the Spring Celebration Screen Fold card that I'm going to show you how to make in this video. And I'm also going to share a tip on how to make a slimline envelope when you have a thicker card like this. So this is a screen fold. So it has 4 sides, and it stands up, as you can see, and it has a see-through window here made with acetate. It folds up to mail, and I'm going to show you how I made that card. And this is the envelope I made. I don't have a lot of pattern paper, but this one was pretty, and I'm going to share a tip on how to adjust that for a thicker card like this one. First, I'm going to share the new dies from the April release that I used on that card. This is the layered Celebrate, so it has a layer and the words, of course, and you can choose to use it either way, which I really love that feature. We also have a layered Make-A-Wish, which I'm going to use on this card, and we have streamers and crepe paper border. And then there is a bow border and a slimline bow border. And again, I'm going to use that. It is going to make a pretty present. And then this one's not new, but I am using it. It's the Slimline Torn Rectangle die set. First I'm going to show you the template. I always make a template out of paper that I really don't care about, and then I keep it for future reference, and also it's easier to show you the sizing on here. I started with 2 pieces of paper, and I'm using two-sided pattern paper, cardstock weight, and the first one is 8.5 by 7.25, and the second one is 8.5 tall by 7. So this side I folded in and scored it in half, and then the first one, and I'm going to show you on here, there's an extra 1/4 inch on there, and that's going to be used to put these 2 pieces together. And if you put layers on, I chose a layer of 3 by 7.25. So 3 of the panels are going to have a layer with that 3 by 7.25. So here is my first piece. Again, there's an extra 1/4 inch on here, so I scored it at 1/4, and of course on this one I had to flip it, and then at 3 3 3/4 because of that 1/4 inch here. So you're scoring this part in half, and then there's that extra little 1/4 inch there, and then this piece I just scored it right at 3.5, right down the middle. We're going to put these 2 pieces together, but before I do put it together, I know that on this third panel, I wanted to cut out a rectangle with the torn rectangle die from Dies to Die For, and if you put this together and then try to cut that out, it's almost impossible. It's way too wide for any machine. So what I did was, I have an old Stampin' Up! Punch here that I like to use for the legs on a screen fold, and I put it in here and I cut one just to know where that's going to be, and then I taped this in and I folded it like this, and I put it through my die cutting machine, so it wasn't too wide, and I was able to easily cut that window out that is going to have acetate on there, so it's going to be see-through. And then I have this other piece, and I am going to use skinny tape along this 1/4 inch fold and put this together. I think it's easier to do it this way. I'm going to line it up along that fold. And then close it like that. Uh-oh. Can I get this off, do you think? Oh dear. Okay, I'm back. As you could see, I had switched one around, and I had 2 of the purple and 2 of the pink taped together. I was able to pull it apart. There's a little bit of that showing, and I don't have a lot of this two-sided cardstock weight, but I have this extra piece that I cut out of there, so I'll just cut a line and cover that up. That's on the back, but if it bothers me or anyone else, I can always fix that easily. Now I have again that old Stampin' Up! Punch that I am using for the legs. You could just use a circle, you could just use any shape really to cut some. I've made these in the past and always liked using this, and basically you just line that up and punch out, and then you have 4 legs that this will stand up on. Now on the fourth panel, I simply cut a piece of thick cardstock. This isn't the thickest paper here, but I'm going to put thicker cardstock on each panel, so that will make it much sturdier. And I just used some of those streamers from Dies to Die For to add some fun birthday celebration there. And this is where I'm going to sign the card. So I'm going to attach the fourth panel. And then on the third panel, I wanted a see-through element that kind of makes for a floating sentiment and adds some interest. And what I've done is I have cut out the frame with that slimline torn rectangle. The smallest one I used to cut the opening, and then I used the two sizes to make the frame. And then I attached a piece of acetate on there, and I am going to attach this with skinny score tape. I think this is the top. Maybe not. That seems to line up a little better. Try it again. And of course you can see through that. I have die cut Make-A-Wish out of mirror card, and I put some easy cut adhesive from Eileen Hull and Thermoweb on the back of this. Obviously you don't want to use glue on acetate, and it makes it stick so much easier. Attach that across there. Then I had some older adhesive rhinestone candles. This is years and years and years ago that I bought this, but I thought for Make-A-Wish and a birthday, it would be fun to have some adhesive candles on that see-through area. Make-A-Wish. Now the second panel is going to be a birthday present. So I started with a piece of 7 1/4 by 3 purple striped designer paper, and I had cut the slimline bow border out, and then just the regular bow border, and then I cut this bow out of the purple sparkly glittery paper and raised it on some pop dots. So this is going to be a bow on the present, and I am going to go down like that on my present. And then trim off the little pieces. And then I decided, since this is a present, I will make a gift card part of the card, and then it becomes a gift. So what I did was, I have a gift card here to Starbucks, and I cut a strip of that white glittery paper there, and I am going to attach it with some tape on the back. And when the birthday girl gets the gift, gets the card, she'll have a gift card in there that she can pull out. I just use some temporary tape under their temporary tape roller to hold that in place until it is received, and then they can easily pull it out and go get some coffee or goodies. And then on the first panel, I started with another piece of white thick cardstock that is again 7 1/4 by 3, and I decided to make a real celebration and use a stencil from Art Plurations. It's called Fanfare, and I thought that with some pretty sponging of inks, that would be a very pretty front to my card. I then decided to add some glitter dust. I've been finding I'm reaching for this more and more. Glitter dust is from Thermoweb, and it adds a real sparkle. This one is called Iridescent, so it's pretty subtle, but it adds a really pretty sparkle to that. Well, I made a little mistake with the glitter dust. Number one, when you're using this, you should always take it outside. It does have quite an odor to it, which I did, but I wanted to just get the sparkle through the stencil. So I had the stencil on and I sprayed it, and now no matter, and then I had already inked it, so now the ink and that glitter dust on here is more or less permanent. I've scrubbed it and can't get it off. Now that didn't ruin the stencil, but I just thought I would let you know that this is, I guess, pretty permanent. I have tried several cleaners and I'm not getting that off. But again, it's not ruined, it's not a big deal. But I probably will not spray through a stencil again. But anyway, I still like it. I ended up spraying all over the place. It has a real pretty shimmer to it. And then we're going to add some streamers and Celebrate. And again, this is the layered Celebrate, and I'm raising it up on some skinny foam strips from Motion Crafts, which are my favorites. Sometimes I like it to be up really high, and then I use pop dots. But most of the time, this is what I use. And we'll put that Celebrate across there. And then I have some really fun streamers that I cut out of really pretty purpley glitter paper. Once again, I put that Easy Cut adhesive on the back so that I don't have to worry about glue or anything. I simply remove the backing, and then it is very sticky. So we will go up like that. And then cross it over. And one more. I guess these are called crepe paper streamers. That's what the die is called. Of course, I have links to everything in the description box. I'll trim off the excess. And then we're going to put this on. And our four-sided card is complete. We have celebrate, a gift card and a present, make a wish, and a place that I can sign the card. Now this ends up being pretty thick, and of course if you were going to mail this you'd have to put an extra stamp on, which is no big deal. But I did want to share a tip that Stacy from Dies to Die For showed and told us about. This is the die that makes the Slimline envelopes, and in my last video, and I'll put a link to that in the description box, I showed how easy this is to do. And I'm finding that I am loving making matching envelopes for my Slimline cards. I've never had good luck finding pretty ones on the market, so I'm really liking that I can do that. And as I showed, you take a piece of 12 by 12 paper and you fold it in half, put some tape on those edges so it stays in place, and you're going to cut this, and it's going to cut the shape of the envelope for you. You trim off one side, and I've done that, and this side then becomes the flap of the envelope, of course. Now these sides here, normally you would trim those off too and just use this to close the envelope. But if you have a thicker one, what Stacy shared was if you leave both of these in and then put them together, it's going to have a little more room there, a little more give. And I decided to trim these side pieces just a little bit so that they'll stay together, but a little bit of that edge is now off. I prefer dots adhesive for this. I know I use all sorts of adhesives, but the dots go right where you want them to go. This is a permanent. But anyway, so we're going to try to put these side pieces together. And then, as I showed in the video, I like putting a strip of that Easy Cut adhesive there, so whenever I'm ready to seal this, it's easy to do. And, you know, some people aren't liking it when people lick envelopes. I'm not sure that any type of germs can last through the mail, but it's not worth taking a chance, I guess. So now we could take this thicker card and slide it in, and there's just a little more room there. Again, you're going to need a second stamp for sure, but there's just a little more room there to get that thicker card in there, so that's a great tip. I had so much fun designing cards with all the new dies at Dies to Die For, and I hope my cards inspire you to give some of these awesome dies a try. Thanks for watching, sharing, and subscribing, and thanks too for helping me share the joy of creativity.